hello and welcome to Startup Central. I'm Nayantara Rai. This is the only show of its kind on Indian television dedicated, of course, to startups, but also innovation, technology, disruption. Basically, if it has anything to do with the new economy, it's here every weekday, 6 to 7 p.m. on ET Now. Ladies and gentlemen, pretty much like all the startups and investors and stakeholders we like to feature, Team Startup Central loves constructive feedback. Don't hold back, write into us. Tell us how we can improve the show. We also love compliments. We lap them up, so keep writing in. I'm also on Twitter. Feel free to reach out to me directly. My Twitter handle is @Nayantara Rai. Let's get down to it. Now, I believe every day is Women's Day. At least it ought to be Women's Day. But here is a woman entrepreneur who has proved that it is indeed a woman's world. She comes from a small town. She's conquered the big world. She's created the world's first social network for women, by women. She's created India's largest digital community for women. It might even be the world's largest digital community for women. It's not just about social commerce. It's a safe place for you to talk about anything from jobs to, if you want advice as a mom, to even domestic violence, serious issues like that. My guest today, to kick off the International Women's Day features that we're going to be getting you, is the ultimate Shero. Yes, I'm getting you Sairee Chahal of Sheroes. Sairee, such a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for joining us here. You know, like I said, every day is Women's Day. It ought to be every day Women's Day, but unfortunately, I guess we have this Hallmark event, Hallmark Day, or whatever you want to call it, because all women are not able to conquer the world. You certainly conquered it. You're an aberration. What do you tell women to inspire them every day, to make sure that they have faith in themselves?
So first of all, thank you for having me here, and I also believe that every day is Women's Day, but we do need Women's Day to tell us how much work needs to be done and how there is still a lot of gender inequality in the world, and women's rights are everyone's rights too. And look, I think we live in very, very interesting times. There are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of spaces for all of us to shine. So whether it's our own talent, our own interest, our own entrepreneurial instincts, or our own careers. So I think these are opportunities for all of us, and what we really want to do is make that available to more and more women. And I am particularly inspired by women across the country, because being a woman in small town India, being in a middle class family or in an orthodox setup is not easy. There are always layers that you need to peel off, and that's really my inspiration. And we all sort of stand for each other, we support each other, and some of these models are very, very exciting, given where we are today in terms of both technology and innovation.
But you know, Sairee, yours is also a dream story. You hail from a small town. You came to the national capital. You studied in JNU. You dabbled in technology. Then, you know, after a few jobs, you started Flexi Moms. And now you have Sheroes, which is now in its second avatar, right? You've gone beyond just the social networking platform you started off to do. It's a dream run. But, you know, it sounds damn good on paper. There must have been some really big challenges which can perhaps inspire our women, viewers tuning in. Do you want to share some of those?
Right. So look, I think building a company is never easy. Building it in India is definitely not easy. And if you want to do something that's not been done before, you will always be challenged. You will always have the naysayers. But the truth is, you have to stay true to the user you serve, the customer you serve, and the mission you serve. And in our case, I think that's been our biggest pillar for success. But as an entrepreneur, you fail more than you succeed. You actually fail every day. There are so many things that go wrong, whether it's the macro environment, or whether it's your investing environment, or just this simple persistence of being able to do it. And I think I always tell women I meet, founders I meet, that you have to get up, dress up, and show up every single day. You have to treat this as something that's going to take a long time. And no good company happens in a day. There are no easy successes in startups, but good companies take time, and companies that are valuable to a lot of stakeholders at the same time also take a lot of time. So I always tell founders, I need to be at it, because what you start out as and what you end up as are very, very different for most successful companies, and you have to go through that run.
I know a lot of successful women don't like the phrase shattering of the glass ceiling. But whatever way you want to use that proverb or whatever, do you believe you've done that?
Well, I think to begin with, I think there are a lot of other things that got shattered. Look, if I sort of go back to my ancestral roots, my grandmom used to say, if you're a girl who's been born and they haven't killed you when you were just born, you must consider yourself lucky. So I think there are many sort of layers that are part of the ceiling. It's not just the corporate ceiling, but of course I think once you have made some inroads, then the truth is you're also an insider, and then you have more responsibility to hold the door for other people coming in, because that's what grows a community. That's what paid forward is. That's what founders do, and that's how you grow any ecosystem. So I think I've broken more than my share of glass doors and ceilings and stone slabs and a lot of stereotypes in the process, and maybe some fragile egos in the process. But if that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
That you've shattered more than your share of fragile egos. Tell me, do they come back to try and get you, or do you just don't bother about that? Because that's the really sad part as well. Like what your grandmother said, you should be lucky if you're still alive, and all of that. It is, the corporate world is still considered to be the man's world. Look at the gender pay parity and all of that. So what do you tell yourself? I just don't care. What do you tell yourself?
I think you have to keep that in the back of your mind. You have to keep your roots in mind, because you can never get ahead of them. And for me, Sheroes is really manifestation of that. Look, I think if all this was not happening, I would be, pretty much, in one of those talukas or one of those districts, sort of living a very regular life. And I think, but we also need to sort of be very mindful of our privilege. There is a lot of power that comes with, success, that comes with, being out there for a lot of, users, being out there for a lot of founders who are starting up. And I think being honest about your own failures, being mindful of the business environment, sharing what you can possibly share. So I see this as a circle. And I also feel that, look, our sort of responsibility is to the women we serve, our responsibility is to our investors, our responsibility is to our employees, our team members who make things happen every single day. So in a day, there are a lot of good things to worry about. So I just feel that we should build the new, not fight the old, because the old had a context which we don't know. Those things happen for a reason. We don't know all the reasons.
Okay, so I now want to talk to you about Sheroes. Like I said, it's in its second avatar now. Correct me if I'm wrong. You started off as a digital platform where women could engage, but then you saw, wow, what a big opportunity. You were perhaps overwhelmed by the kind of response and made you realize that there's so much more that can be done. The community, the e-commerce, the selling, getting a loan. Tell us where Sheroes is at now and what your vision is going forward.
Right. So look, for us, it's very simple. The number of women online in India is growing every single year. And when women come online, they're looking for a lot of things that will enable them in life. They're looking for their own online identities. They are looking for a network. They are looking for support around things that matter to them, whether it is careers or parenting or health or legal issues. And Sheroes offers something around each one of those. And of course, finally, there's financial independence. I think our women in workforce numbers in the formal sector are utterly poor, but at the same time, the opportunity is in micro entrepreneurship, in being able to create opportunities for a lot of women who are middle India, who will never have, maybe the pleasure of working in a corporate or having a salaried income. We have to think about them. And I think everything that looks like a problem is also an opportunity, and that's how we see this. Women are using the internet to their advantage. They are looking at this as an opportunity to enable their own growth paths. So Sheroes is a space for them to, one, express themselves, find their voice, find their me space. This space is an unbridled, honest space for them. It's a safe space, it's a high empathy space. And that's what is the fundamental construct of Sheroes. That's the base environment that they get on Sheroes. And on top of that, we are enabling a lot of things. This could be becoming a verified seller on the platform. This could be selling their goods and services on the platform. This could be showcasing their art. It could be showcasing their creative work, whether it is in writing or painting or sculpture. All of that has an opportunity to find both an audience, a marketplace, and appreciation, recognition, and this is turning out to be what I call women's internet. And then of course we do a lot of heavy lifting around offering emotional support, counseling support, because we feel that if you're going to create something strong for women, we need to tape up issues around mental health, around abuse, around making sure they have a safe space to voice their opinions, their own issues. So Sheroes is a one-stop shop. It's kind of a super app now, and women do pretty much everything that they need to on their digital spheres. They can track their periods, they can speak to a doctor, they can speak to other women, they can speak to mentors. So it's really like a Gymkhana Club online. They really, that membership allows them a lot of access. And mind you, these are women who have traditionally not been on the internet. They do not use email, they do not do a lot of things on traditional websites. So they are coming online and doing a bunch of things on Sheroes, and it's helping them build their confidence, it's helping them build their financial identities, and it's also spreading in their peer network. So this whole story of success for women and women's internet is very contagious, and we are very, very excited about that.
Online Gymkhana membership, a super app, women's internet, which is getting very contagious. So you told me what all is happening. Do you want to tell me what's on the anvil? What's next?
Well, we just hope to grow, and I think so far we've invested a lot in making sure there is a channel for women to sort of find all this and to be able to do these multiple things on the Sheroes app, on the Sheroes platform, and with the partners. This year we're going to strengthen two things. One is the whole route of entrepreneurship and monetization for Sheroes, because we are ready to sort of enable a lot more women, and also to enable transactions across the platform in a big way. And of course, I think on the roadmap is also double clicking on credit, financial products, things that enable entrepreneurship for women across the country. So I think those are sort of things on the anvil for us, and we obviously want to continue to grow. We want to continue to make sure the network gets stronger every single day, and we are able to bring in more and more partners as value adds. We are able to do a lot more things that might be useful to our members.
Sairee, because you also want to get into lending, I want to ask you a question about this. Just because you're a woman doesn't necessarily mean that you're also credit worthy, right? Because that could lead to another problem. And unfortunately, that's another problem that exists in India, that you don't have many credit worthy women. They're reliant on their fathers or their husbands for money. How is this business likely to grow or to make them financially independent? Because they have to be able to pay back with interest.
Yes. So look, this is a circle. It's enabled by three things. So first is Sheroes has its roots in the workforce business. That's where we started. So a lot of women are already employed by the network. So we know who they are, we know their incomes. Second, we are enabling more and more peer-to-peer commerce. So a lot of women are already buyers on the platform, a lot of women are sellers on the platform. And we are doing more and more to make sure they have access to supply, they have access to inventory, they have access to tools, they have access to mentorship to grow their business. And that forms the base of our own credit business, because we obviously are not in the business of credit, to be honest. We are doing this because this is a value to our own user base. This is a value to women on the network. And the other thing that we take our lessons from are the microfinance playbook. Look, women have existed in communities, and those communities have enabled peer-to-peer guarantees. Those communities have enabled a lot of social capital for women, and we feel that there's an opportunity to enable that on Sheroes, because we are a peer-to-peer network. Your social capital is on Sheroes, your shop is on Sheroes, you do a lot with us, and being a good member will have its own rewards. Being able to build a business online should get you enough credit to grow your business further. So for us, it's all connected. It's a loop where if you are somebody who is pushing the barriers on entrepreneurship and growing your business, then you should not be held back by lack of resources. You should not be held back by lack of capital. And you're right, women don't have access to capital, whether it is property, whether it is the only thing they have is gold jewelry, which is a pretty illiquid form of capital. So we feel there's a huge opportunity in connecting the dots: social capital, micro entrepreneurship, and credit.
I also want to ask you this one question, Sairee. When Rajan Anandan, who's invested in Sheroes, was between jobs, between Google and Sequoia, I happened to meet him, and I remember him telling me that he's invested, but guess what? Even he can't get onto Sheroes. He has no idea, because men are just not allowed. And you have marquee investors on board. Can you share with me and I was always intrigued, what do you show them to make sure that they part with their money?
Well, I think Rajan's one of our earliest supporters. So look, I think the thing that attracts all investors we have on board is the mission. Can you imagine that 100 million women can find their inroads into entrepreneurship or communities, or are able to find the access that they need to access? So I think the mission is so exciting that it should be easy to part with your money. But having said that, we have ways to show them demos and product in a way that they really don't have live access. But obviously, if somebody's keen, we definitely can make that happen. And of course, we have what we call test environments, where you can sample the product, but you may not be in the real-time environment. So and of course, Rajan is one of our earliest investors. He's always believed in the idea, he's backed it, and of course, look, I think it's important for all of us to be cognizant of the country we live in. We are not different from our environment, and I think more and more we all are realizing we're also connected. We're also connected in so many ways that are so amazing and almost scary now. But we have to do something about the world around us. We can't ignore that fact, and I think Rajan's very, very conscious of that. He's backed the mission, and all our investors, whether it's Vijay Shekhar or Binny Bansal or Rajul, I think they're all sort of very, very gung-ho on the mission. And look, we'll keep building it. We're all in this together.
My final question to you: do you daily have men trying to hack on?
Every day. Actually, we have a team whose job is to constantly watch that, and every user can report. We delete about 200,000 profiles every 40-50 days. This is a big problem, actually. And it kind of is very representative of the rest of the behavior offline in this country. And I think it's I know we make fun of it sometimes, and we have, of course, our machine learning algos are constantly getting stronger as more and more people try to hack it, because then we know what to prevent. But honestly, it's not a nice problem to have, but keeping it safe is a very, very big priority for us, because it allows our users to be who they are and do things that allow them to sort of find their own roadmaps, be in a high trust environment.
Right, and that's of course the basic USP that you have. The women should be able to feel safe to talk about anything they want, I guess, from boy problems to job problems to domestic violence, health, whatever it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Sheroes, Sairee Chahal, only on ET Now and Startup Central. Here's wishing you all the very best, Sairee, and let's hope that in a couple of years, every day is indeed a Women's Day.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
And with that, we're going to take a short commercial break. But stay tuned. On the other side, the Supreme Court has thrown a spanner in the works for RBI, and the Modi government lifted the ban on cryptocurrency trading. What is it going to mean for you? What does it mean for the virtual currencies out there? That discussion coming up after this break.